To ask the question, as you guys are going through your day, Lawrence, you described your day. Charles, you kind of described your day. Now, if you want to describe your day, you can, but generally, I'm curious, how do you go through your day and cope with all of the things that we've talked about so far? Because it sounds kind of heavy to me.
Um, I know for me, when I get up in the morning, uh, I say a prayer, because I know that without God, I would not be in the position that I am in. Honestly speaking, I came a long way. So, and then once, like we mentioned before, once you step out the house, you're a target. So I make sure that's included in my prayer that once I do step out the house, that I'm not so much of a target in a bad way, but I'm a target in a good way that I magnetize to good energy. And then with that being said, it's just as I go through my day, my thought process is more so knowing and showing um, what it's not like to be victimized. So what I mean by that, because I'm in first grade, just watch your attitude. Watch the things that people say. Hey, Mr. Brown, they called me ugly. Was that really necessary for you to be throwing a pencil or really throwing a temper tantrum? Because that starts there. So I try to make that type of impact on the youth so that they know um, your decisions affect tomorrow. Your decisions now, excuse me, affect tomorrow. So that's my thought process once I leave the house, to really try to be very impactful and to let people know that all it takes is 2 seconds and your life can be thrown away from now on. Life experience, personal experience. Excuse me.
Mhm.
And not to get too personal, let me backtrack. Can you? I'm sorry, because I got to throw this out there. Um, her godson, which is my nephew, he's the main reason why I really jumped into this. Not to go into too much detail, but he is incarcerated. Um, and I honestly feel like it was from his childhood, and it could have been way different had a lot of things played out differently. And I just feel like because I was a little younger myself, I wasn't as knowledgeable as I am now. Because if I was, he would have grew up different. So this will make me, really know that it starts young. So let me try to attack the start versus when they get in high school. Because people ask why elementary versus middle and high school. It's too late in middle and high school. Their mind is already made up. So I can kind of touch the first grade, just touch elementary school, as long as I feel is needed, and then middle and high school will go along with, like, I would be a teacher, but more so counseling as I go, because now your mind is molded, but I just want to make sure it's molded in the right direction.
I've talked about it a little bit. I won't take up too much time, but each day, doing some type of activity that allows some good hormones to go through my body. With breathing, with doing spiritual activities each day, and also understanding that as a father, it's my job to help my children become healthy adults. And that means being disciplined and having some flexibility, but keeping structure and having some discipline, which means that I need to be doing that as well. I need to be disciplined and structured as well. And just understanding that people are people, and we're gonna um, we're gonna make mistakes, excuse me, but we can learn from them as well. But just understanding that it's each each day, excuse me, understanding that we can definitely make mistakes, learn from them, and there's always been a learning posture, not looking at problems, looking at solutions. So that's pretty much how I kind of move through my day. What about you now?
So when I thinking about the things that we've talked about, I feel like making good decisions so you wouldn't be put in a bad situation would be important because if you think about it, the people are just there at the wrong place at the wrong time, and it can happen. It can happen to anyone. So just making smart decisions about where you're going and who you hang around with
Mhm.
will be important. And I'd say just being smart and being safe is um is probably the best choice. And yeah.
And now you hint on something about just being around the right people.
Mhm.
Someone told me this a while ago. Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future.
Hmm.
And that kind of stood out to me a lot because as I transitioned through life, the people that I thought was friends were not in my plans in the future. So I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew I wanted to be, very impactful. I knew I wanted to do a lot of things that, some of the people that prior in my prior life wasn't even thinking about doing. So I had to make a judgment call, if you will, to not personally remove them out my life, but just know that I cannot have my full attention on these individuals because I know that these will be the ones that pull me down. Fast forward, I also got into the education field because I have a friend. He's a fifth grade teacher that teaches at my school. He's a black educator, and he has dreadlocks. He has a thicker beard than me. Um, and I also have another friend that we all graduated college at the same time. They just started in elementary school at the same time. And my other friend, he's teach third grade, so we teach different volumes of characteristics. So those are the friends that are in my plans in the future. So now when you are going through school, I'm sure you have a right circle around you, but just look at the people that are in other circles and just ask yourself, you kind of identify where their future will be because your friends will be the ones that either motivate you or be the ones that'll pull you down. So I try to, back to your point now, I would try to hang around for me coming up. And now I still try to hang around the right people because there's always bad things thrown at you no matter your age or who you are.
Mhm. Well,
So
if
to
mhm.
change your friend circle though does require some strength, some inner resilience, um a commitment to, I guess, your own future, your own goals, your own destiny. And sometimes change is hard. So this is a question for any of you. What is it that you think stops people from making the change? Like when they realize that it doesn't feel good, for lack of better words, like they know this is not what they want, that is not the future that they want for themselves, yet and still they choose to continue doing what they're doing because it at least is predictable. And sometimes, from my perspective, sometimes it's easier to do what you are familiar with because you know how to plan for it, versus when you are trying to make some changes and some shifts. It can be scary. Like you can't control what you don't know. You can't plan for what you don't know. What do you think may be some of the things that stop Black men in particular, Black young men in particular, from making the change when they don't want to keep doing what they're doing? Like they know what the options are for them, but they keep doing it anyway. Or is there something else happening that I'm not aware of?
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
I can say that group thing. I mean, depending upon how old the young men are, it's like the group thing is powerful. I mean, it's just um, having a sense of belonging. So I think when you have like a real strong sense of belonging with a group and you want to change, then if you change, then there's no more group. So it's like, what am I to do? How am I to do? And I think back to your point, Dr. Kenya, um, it's it's uncomfortable. It's unknown. It's like how do you even deal with the unknown? And it's easy to deal with things that you're used to, even if they're not as healthy. So I think the group think is powerful, but having a support system outside of the group. So you have parents, you have siblings, you have other community involvement. I think that can be something that they can lean on to help them get out of the group that they don't want to be in.
So I know for me, just being from two different, areas, if you will, like I mentioned before, you will have those that will do dirt in a sense, and those would be the examples your parents told you about. Let me just say that. So once you see that, that's what make you want to do right. Now the people that are doing wrong, it's up to them to either follow you now, because it's either you have a leadership characteristic or you have a follower characteristic. So for me, I always been a leader. So it was easy for me to go the right way once I saw that wrong. Like, nope, I'm not doing that again. But the people that was behind me saw the positivity and saw the cons out of doing right. And keeping a level head on your shoulder. It's okay to know the things, well, as they would say, to keep your ear to the streets, but it's more impactful to know good out of everything else around it. Like, to know, all right, look, I have a friend that's in college, I have a friend that's doing this, I have a friend that's an educator. I want to be like them. I don't want to be, because there's nothing good coming out of waking up doing everyday things that are not positively impacting your life, if you will. So it was easy for me to transition, my circle, because if you didn't want to do it, I'll just see you later. And whatever later that means, it's all about, what I would want to give my attention to. So it's either I give my attention to, bad things or good things. And they saw that. So it was easy.
So since you already have like that leadership like quality, it was easier for you to transition out.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who don't have it, it'll probably make it harder. I think it could still happen, but it'll probably make it harder for people to transition out of the group think. Yeah, that's powerful though, and it sounds like that was something that well, I don't know. Let me ask the question. Was that something that was developed in you, or do you think that was something that was just innate?
What?
The leadership quality in you. You said you've always been a leader.
Oh yeah, I feel like that actually like enabled me, in a sense. It helped me to become who I am now. Because look at me now, I'm actually in a real leadership position. Um, and I've been, once I graduated college in 2017, I was one of the younger managers, and I managed people you all age, and I'm sure you all are over 30. Let me just say that. So I managed older people. So that alone showed me that I had this quality, from day one. Now it's all about how you use your leadership quality as well. So that's why you have people showing people the wrong way. So if I was a follower, just being trying to be very transparent on the other side. If I was a follower, and if I see someone doing good, I would want to follow that, because I see the consequence, the repeated consequences of the bad things that are being, produced.
So I'd say that a lot of like people are just like they're familiar like with one group and they just want to stay in that one particular group and they're comfortable in it. They might know that that group is gonna bring them down, but they may have been in that group for so long, they may just be comfortable in it and they know deep down that that group is not good for them. But since they're already so used to it, they just might as well stay in the group and because that's what they're comfortable with. But when to like improve yourself like as a person, you can't always stay comfortable. Um, so I feel like doing things that you're not most comfortable with, but you know that will improve you as a person will be better in general. So that's my thought.
Thank you for that, Nels. What I heard you say is you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable if you want change.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
I appreciate you for that point of view. Um, Charles and Al, you guys both kind of hinted at this, and that is the whole concept of a sense of belonging and how important that is in reference to helping you to feel good about who you are. Um, I have been talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and a sense of belonging is definitely like one of the things that you need as a person to be your best self, and he would call that self-actualization. And so I want to ask you guys, as Black men, as a Black young man now, what is it that makes you feel seen and heard?
I feel like actually taking to what we say into consideration. I feel like a lot of times, us Black males, we may come off in a different way, but I know our intent may be in a good intent. So let's just say, for example, I don't know, me being an educator, right? If I had one of my students that will always come to me, hey, Mr. Brown, I have such and such going on at home, and it's up to me to kind of push them in the right direction, if you will, and or allow what that parent is saying to them to enable them to feel like they are not as powerful. So if the child say, "Hey, mommy, 1 plus 1 is 3," it's wrong, but the parent may curse them out for being extremely wrong, versus literally walking them through that piece. So once again, I'm sorry to be biased. It starts from when you're young, and it starts at home because their voices may not be as heard. So I just feel like just taking our word and what we saying into consideration by all means.
Yeah, I totally agree, Lawrence. Like, yeah, take what I say and use it. Not
Right.
just, it's like, okay, well, all right, you say this, oh, it's good to hear from you. No, I say, how can we use what I'm saying? To me, that helps me to feel value. Now, everything that I say probably doesn't add, you know, a great amount of value, but I think, understanding that when it does, it will be considered and used in some type of process, whether it's in a relationship. So let's say my relationship with my wife, and I tell her, okay, I feel like you don't listen to me enough. So I say, okay, well, let me start listening to you more. And she demonstrates that she's going to listen to me. And then I communicate to her, hey, I need for you to listen. Oh, I need some advice. So it's like I'm communicating what it is, that I need. So just taking what's said and using it, I think makes me feel heard, um, or seen. Um, and um, and just acknowledgement. I mean, just kind of, because sometimes I will walk in buildings and I try to talk with everyone. I walk in buildings, I would wave or say hello, and people would not respond. They just will not respond at all. And I mean, I don't see myself as a threatening person. Some people may, because I'm 6 feet, probably about 215. So I don't know if I appear to be threatening, but people do not speak. Just a simple hello, it's fine. Um, so yeah.
And I just think reassurance as well. Like you said, you just want to feel value from what you are saying to whoever it is. Just being reassured that, hey, I heard you, and then the actions following through with that.
What makes you feel seen and heard now?
Oh, so by fit by like a physical, like physically, like being seen. Just like maybe like walking like a store or something. I'd say maybe if you're like maybe like being tall or like intimidating, people are gonna see you and maybe see you as a threat. And to be heard, your voice, I feel like your voice might have to be like strong and loud, and people like may want to listen to like what you have to say, things like that. But I feel like being heard is more about is not more about what you're like saying, but like how you're saying it. So that's just my personal opinion on it.
Now,
Ben,
I'm sorry, Lawrence. Now, do you
oh no,
think
you go, you go.
that do you think that you're heard and seen as you, I don't know, as you're home or you're at school or you're out in the community? Do you think you're heard and seen?
Oh, seeing most definitely at school. Um, People say I look a little bit intimidated for some reason, probably because I'm like 6 foot. I don't, I don't think I seem intimidating, but people say that. I get kind of confused when people say I may look intimidating, but may stores or maybe in a public environment, or maybe, but being heard, I. If I say something, I think I'll be heard, but that's pretty much it
Mhm.
from my personal
I'm
experiences.
put you on the spot real quick. Do you think that you think I hear you?
Yes.
Okay. And what makes you think that I hear you?
Um, you listen to what I have to say. And, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Now,
So what I
Wait, nah,
go ahead, little
oh,
Kim.
I'm sorry. Nah, he hit on something about being seen. And Charles, like being the dad, I'm glad you asked him that because like a lot of times as you know, kids and coming up, your father is there, but like he's not there. Like I don't know how to put it. So that speaks a lot, you know, that he is that you asked him that, honestly. Because my parents been married, you know, for 30, 31, for like 32, 33 years. And my father is a great dad, a great father, but he wasn't the most communicative. So being seen, I was physically like, you know, I was there, but we didn't have those that small dialogue. How you just ask him, hey, son, do you feel like so, like that kind of, you know, like that touched me. Like, dang, I never experienced that. So, you know, being seen from that standpoint, and I'm not sure if you all have those personal one-on-one, you know, father to son conversations, but you know that would be, you know, very very touching if you all did, because I know that would speak a lot to him as a young black male. Because speaking from coming from me, I never had that. So, like I said, that small dialogue was very like, wow, that's tough. That's tough.
yeah, thanks, Lauren.
No problem, man.
So Lawrence, I appreciate you for calling that out. Because what I heard from all three of you as it relates to being seen and heard in a good
Excuse me,
way,
sorry.
Bless you.
Thank
now
you.
brought out that if you can be seen and heard in a negative way, but being seen and heard in a positive way includes being affirmed, being validated, being reassured, and for there to be some change in behavior as a result of what you have said, right? That lets you know that, you know, the person that you had that interaction with actually saw you, like stopped and paused and attended to you and then heard what you said. But Lawrence, you brought out something that I appreciate you for bringing it out. Is there a difference in being seen and heard from a woman, perhaps in this particular situation, your mother, as in comparison to being seen and heard by another Black man? Is there a difference in how you experience that?
Yeah, it's very different. As a boy coming up from your mother, it's more soft. It's more soft, regardless of whatever you ask, whatever angle she's coming from. So I feel like the dads, for me, I miss that aggressiveness to really understand what it's like to be a man at the age I am now. So yeah, no, there wasn't a difference from with my mother because Dr. Kenya, you know my mother, so she's very, stern. So she's a little rough around the edges, if you will, or was. So I kind of got the good side on most times, as far as the soft side. But there is a difference. There is a difference to like answer your question.
Mhm.
Excuse me, I'm coming down with something too though. So I keep sneezing.
Yeah, what do you think now? Is it different being heard by, your mom versus your dad?
Oh, most definitely. So with my mom, it's more like of a soft calm. Um, but with you, it's like it's still soft and calm, but it's more like masculine, if that makes any sense. I get like slightly more aggressive and serious. That's I that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Let me not say too much before I get myself in trouble.
Right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, for me,
Like
it
Christmas
was
next week, man.
right. Yeah, for me, so my father died when I was 7. He was into some things. They say he never met a stranger, heard some good things about him, but he lived a life that led him to an early death. And my mom, she got married um to my stepfather, and that's all I knew as my father. And and my mom was she was more the stern one. And my father, he was kind of passive. He joked a lot. So it was either really jokey or like really condescending. So it was like one end of the spectrum or the other. My mom, she kind of had she was within the spectrum where, she would let me know how it was. She talked straight. Just gave it to me raw. Um, but she also took up for me in public and got me later. So it was like, okay, she would protect me publicly and just scold me later. Calm, or do you think it's loving, or is it something that you think is supposed to, is this like a healthy way that a male is supposed to communicate with a woman, or vice versa? Asking him those questions, and he's like, oh, so and it gives me feedback on how to correct things or how to continue to do things. So me an opportunity to look at what behaviors to continue that are healthy. It also allows me to look at things that I can adjust to be healthier.
Okay, so I can continue this conversation forever. I am so loving this dialogue, in particular with this group of men. But I do, before we come to a close, because I do want to respect you all's time, is there anything that you want to share before we wrap up with other Black men, Black young men, as it relates to mental health? What do you think that they need to know that you've not yet had a chance to share with them?
I feel like just take your time, talk more, try not to suppress a lot. Um, and if you have to just find one person to just let it all out with, so that you don't feel alone and so that you feel heard, so that you feel everything that we talked about this evening. Uh, it also starts with us, Black males just being more open, and being more vulnerable. So let's just try to be more vulnerable as we, progress through life. Because I know as we came up, it's not good to express yourself. It's sissy to cry, etc. But it's healthy actually. It makes you think better. It helps you. It builds characteristics. So just express more, just express yourself more, just communicate more overall.
It seems like you work in my office, Lawrence. I mean, I don't have much to add to that. I think it's just talk more, let people know what's on your mind. And two, people that you feel safe with though. I mean, you talk to safe people, and just and the connection between physical health and mental health is huge. So just doing, exercising, eating well. I'll share this quick, really quick story. So I went to a chiropractor. I was having back issues. I still have them. He helped me to correct them without, medication. And so I used to go in with him, go and see him weekly. And I said, Dr. Holland, what's the solution? It's like what makes up like a healthy lifestyle? Just give me your thought on it. Something real simple, real straight, real simple. He said, well, Charles, there's 4 pillars to a healthy lifestyle. He said, you move well, you eat well, you sleep well, and you think well. He said, if you can do those 4 things, he said, I will consider you a healthy person. And I think that, the mind body connection, the mind body spirit connection, the mind body social spiritual connection, I think is important to mental health.
So I'd say for young Black men and Black men in general, I'd say try to improve yourself every single day because because time is something you can never get back, and if you're constantly wasting it, then you're um you're slowly wasting time of your life. So I'd say doing something productive every single day and trying to improve yourself will help you in general. So that's just my tip.
I should.
I agree.
And I was gonna say amen, so thank you now. But Charles, you said the 4 pillars, and I was trying to write them down. I don't know if I did a good job. You
So
said
yeah.
well,
Wait
eat,
a minute, say it again. What was
move
the first
well,
one?
move well, eat well, think well, and what was the fourth?
And sleep well.
Sleep well. I should have known that. I should have known that because I am sure to wake up every day at 3 o'clock. So I should have known that myself. Um, what do I want to say? Wow. Thank you guys. Like I think this was an absolutely beautiful conversation. I learned a lot. Thank you guys for being so vulnerable, so transparent, um, so real with your responses and your answers. I appreciate you all tremendously. I think that you guys are going to help a lot of people. Believe it or not, I can even see us coming back to continue this conversation. But thank each of you from literally I am grateful for this conversation. Thank you guys so much. My last question is, as far as you are concerned, what's missing? What can I do? What can other people do specifically to support you as Black men and Black young men generally, but specifically as it relates to how you see yourself in this world.
I say love. I mean, just the pouring out of love through, positive as affirmations, and just having like a intention on, just being helpful and being honest in a gentle way. I think, with I think sometimes as Black males we get the rough end of the stick, but I think we can use some gentleness. So yeah.
Yeah, I just think like Charles mentioned, gentleness. And if we ever seen, coming up short, not to not to allow us to fall by the wayside, but just to keep motivating us to let us know, we can do it. I feel like we don't hear that enough. More so, we are put in situations where we feel like we're supposed to be here, or we're supposed to be, in this predicament because we never was pushed to good doing. So I just feel like, this always having that open ear and just being there for, Black males, because we need a lot of push and a lot of love.
So I'd say just asking like how you feeling, because most people think that we're always okay, and I feel like that just something simple like are you feeling okay, or how's your day, could could go a long way.
Mhm.
Okay, well, thank you. That's something that I can do quite easily. The gentleness, the love, the honor, respect, the acknowledgement, the listening. Um, that is something that I can do. I am very biased. I happen to love Black men for lots of different reasons. So that will come very, very easy to me. And I hope for those of you who are listening, as it relates to the Miss Dr. Kenya audience, that you too will lean into what it is that these three men have requested and show up for Black men specifically.